Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thank each and every one of you guys very much for checking today's video out. Always grateful for that. And got a couple of different sort of controversial things that have happened in the fishing industry I'm going to make y'all aware of if you haven't heard about it here recently. I think a lot of people that watch the channel sort of follow this type of stuff, so I think you might enjoy hearing this, and I'm going to give you guys sort of my opinion on it a little bit. So anyway, guys, real quick before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping tips on the channel here. Just like to invite everybody to check out our Fish the Moment summer lake map breakdowns. We're going to have our summer maps up until probably through the mid to end part of August there. Gives you 40 good GPS waypoints to begin your searches. If you're struggling to find fish on your favorite lake, this is a good resource. And also check out our updated View Products shopping tab on the channel. When you click on the video at the bottom, you'll see a thing that says View Products. And if you check those products out and purchase any of those on there, it's a good way to help the channel out. So much appreciated. Okay, guys, there's two things that came up here I want to talk about here recently that's, I think, worthy mention. One is Spencer Sheffield's disqualification last week in the MLF tournament up at Cayuga Lake recently. And the other is how the Wild West tournament trail has been scamming anglers out there, not paying them. Now we're gonna, the Wild West deal, guys, first of all on that is, I've been following this for months now. If you've watched social media feeds from some of the anglers out west, they've been complaining about this, for months and months out there. And it's really sort of come to a head. We're gonna go over that. But first of all, let's talk a little about Spencer Sheffield's disqualification up there. Now, it seems like to me that MLF has sort of had a rash of disqualifications amongst their anglers lately, and I'm not here to place judgment on any individual anglers, including Spencer Sheffield. That's to be determined by whoever makes that determination. But apparently, in the tournament at Cayuga, it was a spawning tournament, and I guess they said the press release said that Spencer intentionally unhooked a fish before it could be verified that it was caught in the mouth. And then I guess there was polygraphs given to the top finishers, and apparently he didn't pass the polygraph test. So I got a couple opinions on this. Like I said, first of all, I'm not placing any judgment on Spencer Sheffield on this at all, because I don't think polygraphs are a deterrent, or I don't think they are an accurate depiction for the most part of determining if somebody's telling the truth or not. Now, I'm not saying that they don't work a lot of times, but polygraphs, there's a reason they're inadmissible in court. That's because they're not consistent, and they give false results a lot of times. And the thing about, and I'm not here to place judgment on polygraphs. I know from talking to some of my buddies that have been in the special forces that how you can, pass a polygraph test. And I know that a lot of people are just naturally more nervous, and they can give some fake signals or false signals out there that will cause you to fail a polygraph test. I know for sure, I've followed this for years. I know several anglers in my part of the country that have cheated in tournaments and passed polygraph tests. So from that standpoint, Spencer failing a polygraph test on this, within the rules, that is rules for disqualification. But in the bigger picture, I think we need to have some type of a different system as far as disqualifying people from tournaments other than just polygraph tests. I do think they're a deterrent, but I don't think they're foolproof. I'm not saying that they don't work, but again, they are not foolproof. But let's speak to the bigger picture of this disqualification about intentionally, hooking a fish outside the mouth during spawning tournament. Guys, this is just another example. We do not need to have any bass tournaments during the spawning season. It's the biggest bunch of crap in the world. There's nothing good that comes from it. Every one of these tournament organizations, Bassmaster, MLF, all the other circuits across the country, all they have to do is stop having tournaments during the prime spawning seasons on the lakes that they go to. Now, I know that not all the fish spawn at one time, but let's take, for example, Cayuga Lake up there, or like Table Rock Lake where I fish. All you have to do is start having your tournaments at Cayuga Lake in September. You're not going to have to deal with spawning fish. All these goober tournament directors out there that seem like they got to place tournaments in April at Table Rock Lake, 5 or 6 tournaments every weekend on April, right on top of the fish spawning. Stop doing that. Start having your tournaments in October. Start having your tournaments in February. Stay off the spawning periods. And people say, well, you don't know when the fish are going to spawn, Randy. Yeah, I do know when they're going to spawn. 90% of the fish at Table Rock Lake are going to spawn between the second week of April and the first week of May. There's a 3-week period there. Don't have any tournaments during that 3-week period. Cayuga Lake up there in New York, the fish are going to spawn up there in May and June. Don't have any May and June tournaments. It's easy to get around that. So all of this, I know that's sort of like off the, well, it's not, it's related to it, but it's not directly related to the disqualification, but that's just a sort of a side note. But again, that disqualification up there, I just think we need to have a better system than polygraph tests for the most part. Now, this Wild West circuit, guys, you're going to start seeing some more. You're going to start seeing some more press on this as people pick this up. That apparently, the Wild West Tournament Organization was purchased by this new dude a year or two ago. I can't remember, and started this other circuit called the Apex Tour, which is sort of a smaller elite field type of a thing. And what's been happening over the past year is this dude has not been paying people. They haven't been paying people. Excuse me. Apparently what's happened is there's been a handful of people since over the past 9 months in the tournaments have gotten paid, but more people are not getting paid in these tournaments. This dude is not even giving the anglers back their owed money. And apparently, sounds like he's this owner, some type of a con man type dude. I know everybody out there has been trying to get a hold of this guy. He's disappeared off of the face of the earth. I know for sure a couple people that are in the process of filing lawsuits against this guy. So he's in some serious trouble over that, over, possible embezzlement from the anglers. So we've seen this a little bit before. This is sort of something along with the snagging. It happens occasionally on these jackleg tournament circuits that start up. But here again, I'll talk to the bigger picture on this. We have too many tournament circuits out there, guys. We have too many bass tournaments in this country. Every year, there's some jackleg circuit popping up all over the country, and they're not vetted properly. We have got to have some type of a vetting process in order to lend credibility to somebody that wants to begin a circuit. Now, I know for sure, this guy that started up this Wild West Apex deal, excuse me, guys, I'm trying to get all these allergies here. I know for sure this guy had courted a lot of different sponsors that I know some of the sponsors, and he came across as some legitimate guy, obviously some type of a con man dude. And don't make no mistake about it, guys. There are people out there like that. They can come across that they are legitimate. They know what they're doing. They talk a big game. We see it all the time in business and politics. Con men out there. And we have got to start, and I don't really know what this looks like or how this looks like, but there's the only way that you can do that, it has to be done on either some type of a state or federal level, where you basically have to prove that you are able to start a tournament circuit, run a tournament circuit. You have everything in place to do so before you implement that and start taking entry fees and start pulling other anglers into that. And we've talked about this a little bit before, and then there's always groups of people out that screams, oh, we don't need more government regulation, Randy. Yeah, you do. If the private sector does not have discipline to do the right thing, you have to have some people that'll stand in there to protect other people out there. And another thing about that is I just think the anglers need to be a little bit more aware. I mean, before you jump into some news tournament circuit and throw your money into there, you got to do a little bit of a vetting process. You got to do your research. You got to put in your due diligence about it. And at that point, you can make a decision. But there should have been some red flags. I talked to several guys out there that 8-9 months ago, or whenever the first couple tournaments came in, they were not getting paid. And apparently this guy was telling people not to say anything about them not getting paid. And then he was paying some people to maybe look like he was paying it, but obviously at this point the guy skipped town, and all these Wild West anglers out there have just gotten screwed by it. So anyway, I just wanted to pass those two things along to you guys. Let me know what you all think about it, and we'll talk later. Please.